Helldivers 2 is in a bit of a pickle, and frankly, I'm not sure how it's going to get fixed anytime soon. This video will be broken up into chapters about what I think is relevant about this stuff, and about how to possibly address each of those chapters. Chapter 1. Arrowhead. Arrowhead has never had this much success with a game ever. The most amount of players that Helldivers 1 had was approximately 45,000. And so, going into a game where they had almost 450,000 on the first day of the launch and still having to carry over 180 players a day would be a little bit stressful, and I understand that. No, I'm not saying Arrowhead is immune to faults. There has been a lot of things that they have shoved aside and that they have ignored in order to favour bringing new content and trying to keep players active in the game without prioritising what they already have. And even the CEO himself admits that they probably need an engine upgrade because the technical debt that Stingray brings them, the current engine that they use, is just not worth it in the long term. There's only so many band-aids they can put over Stingray before it turns into just a band-aid ball. Now, swinging back to Arrowhead, I think Arrowhead has done a decent job of trying to provide for the community. But I think the community has been unjust with Arrowhead. It seems that no matter what Arrowhead would do and has done in a situation, there will be criticism from either sides of the community. Chapter 2. The community. The community split between glazed divers and hate divers. Glazed divers are always on Arrowhead's side, and they're very defensive of Arrowhead and fiercely support the studio no matter what. Downplay balance complaints, call out whiners or toxic critics, and often accuse other people of being ungrateful or just rage baiting. The hate divers are players that are frustrated with the game's balance, the nerfs, and the perceived incompetence from the developers and their censorship. They vent openly about issues that they have, saying that the game's broken and that the devs don't play their own game, and share complaints with no filter at all and call out glazed divers for suppressing the feedback. That's where the conflict lies within the community. I'm somewhere in the middle. I just like playing Helldivers, and I like the studio behind it. I like the amount of effort that's been put into the game, and try my best to look past the big failures that they've had. But I'm not going to excuse them of everything. There's some ways that Arrowhead has handled controversies in the past and the way that things have been managed, which have been controversial in my opinion. But I don't know what the situation is at Arrowhead. I don't know how their dev team is looking. I don't know what the morale of their company is or how long they can support this game. I'm just glad that it's here and that it's thriving every now and then. I love that there's new content. I love that the game is engaging. While I do get frustrated when I die, I don't blame that on the studio. I blame it on my incompetence half the time. I deliberately play on Super Helldive because it's chaotically fun. I play with my friends because without it, I just see it as a struggle with no personal gain. I'm in the middle of the two. I understand the hate that could be coming towards, but when it's excessive, I don't really tolerate it. I hope that everyone who watches this video can at least agree that Arrowhead has done some bad and has done some good things. Whether you favor more towards whether the bad things are more impactful than the good things, that's up to you. I'm just here to play the game and have some fun and make some videos about a game I love. Chapter 4. Reddit. The main Helldivers 2 Reddit community has seen a bit of a controversy towards it. And through the other sub-communities and other socials of Helldivers 2, I've seen that people are saying the Reddit community is full of much more hate divers than any other divers, middle or glaze. And I kind of agree with that sentiment. Now, I don't think that all the Redditors hate on everything. People can still talk about Helldivers and find common ground about things. But the doxing is a very prime example. Now, that wasn't the result of everyone on the Reddit community. That was a result of a few bad people that had the tools to do so, and that is shameful on their part. And I don't think that it's Arrowhead's fault that that happened. I think that it is the moderation team's fault, and I understand that Arrowhead is a part of that moderation team by a minor amount, but I don't think that Arrowhead should be held solely accountable for that. I'm not excusing Arrowhead or the moderation team. I still think that they are liable for not correctly maintaining their community in a tolerable manner, and failing to protect one of their community members that was suffering at this severe of a degree, to me, is messed up. Key Complex just liked the game and proposed something fun that could be useful and could change way that specific parts of Helldivers works and try to make the game better. Chapter 5. The game. Helldivers 2 as a game works. Let's be honest, it works. Whether lacking a balanced team, having glitched flesh mobs that run through buildings, or having difficulties that are too hard, when you find your sweet spot, the game works. The game's fun, the game's enjoyable, people come back to the game, people leave the game, people join the game. It's a good game. It's action-paced, you feel like you're insignificant, yet very powerful. You get to command a spaceship around the galaxy in order to fight aliens at any time that you wish. There's updates coming to the game that constantly give you a new fresh of new enemies, new vehicles, new stratagems, new tools, new lore, new story, new challenges. But looking at the game for purely the Helldivers2.exe, it works. It's a functional game that has some bugs in it, but what game doesn't? There are some improvements that could be made to the game, as highlighted with the whole difficulty 10 developer challenge. But I, personally, am okay with the state of the game. I don't think everything needs to be equally balanced. I know that there should be some situations where some things are more advantageous than others. But I do agree that there shouldn't be something that can do everything. But other times it's nice to have something you can use everywhere if you don't know what you're facing up against yet. I've come from games that have had 4, 5, 6 updates and have just left it at that. I came to Helldivers 2 after I played Lethal Company a bunch, and that 4-person squad was perfect for me to bring my friends over and have some fun in a game that was, at the time, getting consistent updates. And Helldivers 2 is still getting consistent updates right now. Well, they're more spread out, but they're still coming every year at least. Chapter 6. Updates. Now, updates haven't come without controversy. There's been limited quality assurance testing from the QA team. There's glitches and bugs that come with every update. But frankly, I find the bugs in the new updates fun. It could result in funny things like what you're currently seeing on my screen, a missing head. It could result in some terrain missing and allowing you to get an advantage over the AI pathfinding. It can result in new weapons having unknown features that can be frustrating or can be exhilarating. But there could also be memory leaks, there could be textures that don't load properly, there could be stuff that just doesn't work at all in the new update with the new war bonds and new enemies having bugs that make them unbeatable. But I think that that's part of releasing an update. Every single game company, unless you have hundreds of thousands of quality assurance testers, you're not going to be able to patch every single bug for every single player when you open it up to the public. But I find a beauty in that in a way. It's kind of like a race to find as many bugs as you can and then find a way to play around them until the update fixes them, and then you can go back to playing the way you were before. But here's a solution I propose. I propose bringing in small integrations of future updates. Like testing out how the Illuminate enemies work and seeing, just by dropping 1 or 2 new enemies in, or letting people pick up a new support weapon that they're trying, or giving everyone a trial with a new stratagem and seeing how everyone works with it, I feel like would be a good idea. So then people can give feedback on it in the community feedback quizzes that they do, and then Arrowhead can fix it from there with the wide player base having a more involved answer into it, or just straight up voting on whether something is good or not. Just widespread community voting. The Democratic Space Station was a great example of this. Let the community vote on where they want the Democratic Space Station, what upgrades they want with it, make them involved with upgrading it with new features, and it being overall mostly a general help to the Helldivers, and making the game easier and more enjoyable. And so by, like the Democracy Space Station, proposing votes into the game for what people want, then people can't say it's not fair when Arrowhead drops something in and it's completely broken. So then Arrowhead will get to get what the community wants in there, and Arrowhead can trial it for a little bit, for like a day with the player base, and then Arrowhead can reel it back, fix the bugs that they find with the stratagem, new vehicle, weapon, whatever, and then can release it as a full product when it's ready. Chapter 7. Resolution. I think we as a community need to understand that we all think differently, and that we have different opinions on stuff, and that we shouldn't divide each other based on that. We should all collectively agree that we all have different ideas for how the game should go, but ultimately, it's Arrowhead's decision. They own the game, they write the narratives, they have a narrative team behind it. They say what weapons come in next, what collaborations they do, what weapon upgrades you get, and what updates come next. And what you play the game for is to enjoy that. And whether you enjoy it or hate it, you can give feedback. But just know that that feedback might not always be taken all the time. I'm not saying bow your head down and don't stand up for anything. Standing up for the Sony account merging incident was great. We got content out of it, we got a new cape, and everything changed for Arrowhead. And it pulled Sony's head in about needing to have a specific account in order to play a game that wasn't even on PlayStation. That was uncalled for, but Arrowhead didn't have a choice. It was part of Sony's terms and conditions under all live service games that are published by them. Which again, isn't Arrowhead's fault, it's Sony's fault. Sony came to Arrowhead and said, you need to implement this now or we're going to stop publishing your game and funding you. And so Sony pulled their head in, agreed with Arrowhead, and decided let's just put it in the settings menu instead, if people want to link their account or not. And so that's when I forgave Arrowhead for that. I'm not holding on to it, it's a thing that happened and it's not relevant anymore. That to me was a good resolution on that whole situation. But I don't think there's going to be a good resolution from the doxing situation unless Key Complex 150 comes back somehow. Or if there's a charity event or a fundraiser or something to help them out. Because we don't know where they are, how they're doing, where they're living. We just know that they were last known to be in danger and they left. And I'm not pinning this to Arrowhead. I just hope that Arrowhead will have better moderation in future for things that they can control and that they are aware of. But I also feel like the community needs to step up a bit when this stuff happens. Voice everything much louder to the moderators and directly. Scream it at the top of your lungs in front of Sham Jorjani's face if you have to, because we can't let more doxing like this happen or everyone will leave and this game will die. Then what will the hate divers hate? What will the glaze divers glaze? We as a community need to act like a community and protect the community. Whether or not they're a hate diver or glaze diver, they're still a human being. And whether you agree or disagree with Arrowhead, they're the most powerful entity in any situation that can help handle this stuff, that can shut it down before it gets too insane. I don't think we should fire all of Arrowhead and rehire them with new people. I don't think that Arrowhead is solely responsible either. I also think that the community is accountable. But I also think the community is innocent in the way that they can't really do much rather than bicker with each other until stuff like this boils over the top and ruins people's lives. Something like this is going to happen again, the community is going to get divided, and I might make another video on it. But I know that right now, I hope that this gets better. We've had so many, it's so over, we're so backs, I don't even know which count we're up to. I also think that that graph is stupid and shouldn't be used as a representation of how the game is going. But above all else, I want you, the viewer, to have fun and to enjoy the game. Putting aside the community, the bugs, the glitches, what you think of the game and how you play the game and however you enjoy it, meta or not, that's what matters. Because no one should tell you how to play the game and that you're playing it wrong and that you play different to me, so I'm going to kick you. Don't be bothered by that. You're just different to them, and that's fine. Everyone's different to each other. Because when everyone's the same, that's boring. And you're meant to be having fun. And if you're currently not having fun with Helldivers, there's a lot of other games that you can play until it does get better. I've taken multiple breaks from Helldivers 2 to play other games with my friends, because that's who I have fun with the most, and that's who I love playing with the most. And if we're not feeling like Helldivers, we might play Repo, or Lethal Company, or Fortnite even. Just know you don't have to be involved in Helldivers every day. You can go do something else if you like. I'm not going to hold you accountable, and if anyone does, then that's a big issue for them. Thank you all for watching this video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I hope it doesn't turn into a hate diver, glaze diver battleground, but I can't make any promises. But like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.